Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the dirt sheet, the only place you need to be going for your pro wrestling news. Your news. Scour the dirt sheets. It's available right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. It's also available wherever fine podcasts are available. I don't even know where my phone is. So
it's right there.
Oh, it's right here. So I can check the iTunes rankings, because whenever you friendos out there hit that subscribe or download button, then it's really neat, because we rise through the rankings of the sports and recreation category.
Where are we?
We are currently sitting at number 87.
Okay.
All right, very good. Lots of competition these days, and so I like that we're holding our own in that top 150.
Yeah.
I've got poofy hair today, Larson, in honor of your you being so tickled at Fandango's. He said, look, he's got poofy hair because he didn't put product in it. So I decided today to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my reasoning. Actually, my reasoning is we usually don't work on Wednesday. So as you guys know, yesterday was Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We're shooting this on Wednesday.
Yes, usually we shoot this on Thursday.
That's correct.
But since Thursday is a holiday,
exactly,
we're not working on the holiday.
We're not doing that.
No.
We got families, and we're going to be suffering through miserable dinners like everybody else. Actually, I always love my Thanksgiving.
Oh, I do too.
I always have a good time. There's the popular culture sort of joke out there that everybody has miserable Thanksgivings, and you got to sit there and talk about politics with their families. You don't deal with that stuff. Me neither. I know. It's always a fun. Like, I go to my parents' house all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, because they're cool.
Yeah.
And my mom makes hella good food.
Yeah.
And so Thanksgiving is just another opportunity.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's fun.
My dad, I was going to say tweeted, he texted me a picture of the brownies he made.
Ooh.
Locked and loaded, ready to go.
You should bring one over.
Bring a brownie over?
Yeah.
I will give you, I'll hook you up with brownies. It's not like it was back in college when you and Big Jim used to jack my fucking care packages.
We would never take the last bite though. We would take the last.
I hate God.
We would take the last
Such
brownie,
a fucking heel,
and break it in half. And we'd eat one and a half, but leave the other half. But we just do that over and over. So we never ate the last bite.
If you guys out there
brownie.
think things got tense between us on Fun Wrestling,
you
have no idea what it was like in college when you guys used to take my care packages.
All of our stories of us arguing in college revolved around food.
It was food and the NW and the N64 WWF games or WCW games.
Yeah.
Because people get so hot, people get so pissed off. Yeah. Anyways, time for the dirt sheet. So yeah, I'm like, we usually don't work on Wednesdays. Usually Wednesday's like my cool down day.
Yeah.
Like I work, but at my own pace.
Yeah.
Doing the kind of fun, but I don't have to talk on Wednesdays.
No.
So I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
So it's just a special week. It's Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
So
holiday week.
So
the first story.
Yes. Clobbering time again for CM Punk.
Maybe.
So according to Forbes, and a write-up on Forbes, CM Punk was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani this past Monday.
Also,
I love Ariel Helwani.
Also, the article is on MMAfighting.com. We'll link to both of them in the description.
Absolutely. And he mentioned that him and CM Punk and Dana White had discussed Punk's future in the UFC, which was interesting because shortly after Punk's fight,
I believe the press conference right after Punk's fight, Dana White said that Punk's next fight probably wouldn't be in the UFC.
And he kind of chuckled it off. You know what I mean? Like, he said it in the most dismissive manner. He's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be in the UFC.
Yeah.
But
that was before they discovered the pay-per-view buy rates, though.
This is where they destroy their credibility. It shouldn't matter how much, logically, anybody that has some sort of name value like CM Punk's could up the pay-per-view. Who doesn't want to see certain people get their ass whooped? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you go with the best fight. But Punk says, I don't want to speak for him. This is a quote. I don't want to speak for him, but I think if he wants to kill it, he would have killed it right then, which I thought he did.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
I thought he did, but maybe contractually, legally, he didn't. Maybe that's what he's talking about. He says, until anything is official, which is why I think he's talking about that, I don't want to say either way what he's thinking or what he's thinking. Maybe that was, I don't know. He said, but yeah, I'm pretty confident that it'll be in the UFC. Punk continues, I told him I want to fight again. We're back at it. We're back to the drawing board, so it's up to him. He floated me an idea, and we're kind of going back and forth on it right now.
So...
And he said, I know later on he said, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Because, it's still up to him.
Assuming that the reason they're going to bring Punk back for another UFC fight in the UFC is to try to recreate that level of pay-per-view buys. Here's the thing. Considering how badly he got his ass kicked, I think the curiosity factor is kind of worn off.
For a lot of people, I could see it's hard for me to put myself in those shoes because I would still watch it again.
I don't know. I don't think like when he had his first fight, I was really excited to see it.
Yeah.
If he fights again, I don't think I really care that much.
I am still compelled. I'm a huge CM Punk fan in his wrestling, in general.
Yeah.
Especially in wrestling, mainly in wrestling, all in wrestling. And I want to see if has he learned anything? Is he going to improve at all? Like, is there something about that first time when he's like, okay, I kind of get my bearings now. I liken it to when we first did our first slew of interviews of wrestlers at the SummerSlam event, and it was a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
I mean, it came off fine. Like you did a marvelous job cutting our
high spots.
Exactly. Yeah. You cut the good stuff. You cut a lot of the bad out. And then the second time when it was AJ and Sasha, what did we do? In the meantime, we got a new camera where we didn't have to worry about if it was going to automatically turn off. We got interview mics. We knew what we were doing. We were more comfortable.
Well, I think also is that we were better prepared.
That's what I mean.
I think that was a major thing, not just in terms of the equipment aspect of things, but in terms of us going into the situation, knowing what we wanted to talk about.
But for me personally, you're right. We were very cognizant about doing that. But for me personally, it was also, okay, so that was the situation there. I know how to get my bearings now. I know if I'm confronted with somebody, what my emotional state is going to be, which I think kind of matters. Your mental state kind of matters. And so I am legitimately curious. Now that he's gone through it the first time, he's gone through it once, is he going to be able to adapt to that and understand what the situation is like more and maybe implement his training, his fighting training better? I mean, I don't know. I'm not optimistic, but my curiosity factor for a second fight, is he going to get any better, is still there. It's still strong. It really is.
I kind of feel like after watching how badly he got beat, it's going to take a long time for him to be prepared enough to go into a UFC octagon and compete at that high of a level.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't disagree, but I think there's probably a lot more people that, and this is me, I have no idea, but I think there's a lot more people people still love CM Punk.
Yeah.
And they still want whatever CM Punk they can get. I think, I'll put it this way. In a vacuum, UFC, let's say it's UFC 220.
Yeah.
They're at 205, I think, coming up.
Yeah, it's another year and a half-ish.
Okay. Well, let's say, he says he's ready January, February.
I know.
Okay, so let's say UFC 207, whatever it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. Let's say he's ready at that point. In a vacuum...
So that would be 4 months removed from his first fight.
Yeah, it's only 4 months.
Yeah, this is September.
Was it just September? Okay.
Yeah. So after 2 years of training, and he got destroyed.
Right.
Is he going to improve by leaps and bounds in those 4 months? A degree.
It was, for us, it was a month between interviews.
I understand that. Completely different enterprise. Completely different.
I totally understand that. My point is maybe there was something that clicked. Okay, I get it. Look, I said I'm not optimistic, but
there's also for Punk in the UFC, there's two aspects of it. I think there's a physical aspect, which he has to overcome his age.
Yeah,
he's not that athletic.
No, he's not.
He might be able to handle the mental side of things the second time around, but I don't know if he has the training or the necessary athleticism to compete against, like world-class fighters.
I'm not optimistic. I'm just saying there might have been a mental hurdle that just being there the first time.
And I said, I think the mental aspect of it, he probably have a better grasp of, because he probably shouldn't have started the first fight running directly at Mickey Gall trying to punch him or take him down.
But going back to it, I'm sorry, you move this. There you go. Looked like we were trying to cover up our friends over there at Funhouse.
Oh no. I was just trying not to cover up our branding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Oh no, don't do that. Yeah, right here. In
right
between. There you go. Cover up nobody. So anyways, but going back to your point about we can debate the merits of his shitty training all day long. Going back to your point about are people going to be interested in this? Does Punk add value to, let's say it's UFC 207? Have no idea what it is.
That's the Punk. I think that's the Ronda Rousey title fight is 207.
Does Punk add? But what was it? Punk added. They speculate because obviously you don't know. It's not freaking Schrodinger's freaking cat. But Punk, they said on an average pay-per-view, or if without Punk, that would have done. I want to say like 2.75
right.
million.
It did almost 500,000, right?
It did. It helped by between 500,000 and 750, something like that. So it was a significant number.
Yeah, but
I think that he would add that number
again.
He would add 250. He would
add half that number, I think.
Okay, that's fine. That's a big ad.
No,
somebody else going in that situation wouldn't. You know what I mean?
What was the main event for that? For his first fight?
Oh God, I forget.
But if say it is 207 and it's the Ronda Rousey fight, I mean, people are gonna buy that pay-per-view just to see her come back and try to win the title back.
I agree, and it goes back to our point about the WrestleMania matches. It's like those matches. So, in the UFC case, it's more like the cards. It's like you put your big money thing at the top, and then you don't really need to add Punk from like Punk can do his own free Fox one. And get people to tune into that. I don't know. Let's speculate on what Dana White is thinking, because let's say Dana White is when he said it's not going to be in the UFC. Let's say that he's sticking along those lines of I'm not going to embarrass myself by putting CM Punk on another card.
I'll mention this because Forbes had an article that went up today, which reported on his appearance on the MMA Hour, but also listed some options of where he could go next. And I know previously we kind of talked and wondered whether UFC had any sort of developmental territory. Apparently they I don't know if they're owned by UFC or they are just affiliated. I don't know exactly, but there are regional promotions which air their content on UFC Fight Pass.
Oh, okay.
So the Forbes article suggested that would be an option. And I'll link this article in the description.
Yeah.
They suggested that might be a route to go because he would still be fighting in the UFC, but just not at a UFC event. Yeah.
And that could bring a lot. If their goal is to get subscribers to Fight Pass, that could be, this guy could be a good, a good carrot to dangle. I was thinking also, do they still do not Tough Enough, Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know Punk was saying we're going back and forth, which means Dana White suggests something, CM Punk suggests something counter to that.
Yes.
Like, oh, do I really want to be in a house with a bunch of people who are just talking shit to me?
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Do I want to prove myself in a tournament the way they had Kimbo Slice do it, which I thought was great.
Yep.
Dana White, I always appreciated Dana White's outlook on Kimbo Slice. He says, I don't think this guy can do shit, but let's see him prove himself. I always like that as opposed to let's put this guy up in a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it bugs me. That's one thing as a casual fan of the UFC, but as a guy who wants to see that promotion succeed, because there was for such a long time, like for example on ESPN, there was always this stigma against the UFC. And only recently have they really started to embrace it a bit more. And it was always like the counter, oh no, we like boxing. It's like, well, UFC to me, I always found more interesting than boxing. I think especially today's boxing, which I'm so far even from being a casual fan of boxing. I'll watch it if I think it's like a big fight. Like I watched Floyd versus Pacquiao. But like from what I understand, the state of the business of boxing is just crap today. Like it's just the matches aren't there. Like it's all about promoters and it's not about like who should be fighting who. And in the UFC, I've always appreciated that. I think that they put the matches on that I think people want to see. They put the matches on that kind of make sense for the most part. And so, but I don't think he really made a good case for himself. But I think something on The Ultimate Fighter where you could get, however long their season is, 12 episodes, or I don't know how long their seasons are.
Yeah.
But you can get 12 episodes of this guy in a house with other people.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not this guy's going to want to do reality TV, I don't know. Maybe that's part of the back and forth thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you suggested, the whole, doing it on a lower level, because he said no matter what, he wants to fight.
Yeah.
Doing a lower level, bring people into the Fight Pass. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So maybe Dana White's watching this.
I had an idea, too.
Okay.
Say he fights again and say it doesn't go well for him.
Okay.
And he softened his stance on not wrestling again. First, it was, pretty much no, not going to do it. And then it was, I'll show up for a friend's promotion and do it quietly.
In a mask.
Yeah. And then, not too long ago, he said he would entertain maybe going to New Japan.
Yeah.
So what if, after he fights again, he gets beat?
Mm-hmm.
I would think New Japan would write a huge check.
Oh, yeah, massive.
To him.
Yeah.
Bring him over.
Yeah.
I know you subscribe to their streaming service. Imagine how many other people would subscribe to see CM Punk return to the ring.
A lot of people.
Having matches against Okada, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. I wonder if he'd do it. I don't know. I'd love to think that he would. Let's see here. In other
More
news,
UFC and WWE talk.
Conor McGregor. So last week on the Dirt Sheet, we talked about the possibility of Conor McGregor coming over to WWE.
Yeah, following Triple H's statements about Conor potentially making an appearance at WWE following or at Conor's last fight.
Right. So now Conor McGregor's agent this past week, he appeared on, his name is Audie Attar, appeared on, I hope I'm getting that name right, appeared on ESPN's 5 Rounds podcast. And when he was asked about Conor making a WWE appearance, which everybody seems to be interested in these days, he said, I think it's all about business. If WWE is going to come with an offer, we are willing to entertain it. We are here, have their people call his people, which is me, meaning him. And he says we can have a conversation. So, I mean, this is sort of like when people asked Vince, would you ever sell the WWE? Well, if the offer is right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And so he's saying basically, I'm listening. I'm open to listening to offers. Nobody
Write a large enough check and we can talk.
Pretty much do that. So it's sort of the first we've heard. I mean, coming from his agent, that's kind of big news.
Yeah.
That's sort of the big to do about it. Conor himself hasn't said jack shit about. I mean, besides running down WWE.
Yeah. I don't believe he's made any statement one way or the other about it.
Yeah, I mean the annoying. I mean, I don't know, dude. We asked ourselves, would we want to see it? I said if it's good for the company. I wouldn't want to see Conor make any of the WWE guys look bad.
Yeah.
But that's probably what would end up happening. You'd have to have him in there against like Rusev, or he'd have to punch somebody, and I don't know. Do I want to see that? No. If it's the best for business, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
What are they gonna do?
I know.
You can't 50-50 book Conor McGregor.
No.
Oh,
nope.
man. So anyways, so NXT is Wednesday night, and that's when we're filming this Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And so we are not able to see into the future and see what happens on NXT.
NXT TAKEOVER Toronto happened this
Wait,
past
wouldn't there be spoilers? Wouldn't there be spoilers?
I know they did some tapings.
NXT tapings,
but I don't know.
spoilers.
I don't know what's actually airing today. I know they taped some stuff at TakeOver and they taped some stuff before SmackDown last night.
Hold on a second. November? What are we in? November? Let's see if we.
So I know I watched I read about the tapings at SmackDown last night, and I know Ty Dillinger had a match against Samoa Joe.
October 19th. We're in November. Firmly in November. Have they taped? Did they tape stuff before? Wait, what are we at? Really November. Have they?
But like I said, I know they tape stuff, but I don't know when it's going to air.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
So I remember when they taped a bunch of stuff during WrestleMania weekend, and they aired that over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what is going to air.
Hold on a second. I just want to see.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay. Oh. Wow, interesting. Okay. All right.
So anyways.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that until it actually airs.
Yeah, although I just mentioned Samoa Joe and Ty Dillinger had a match, but whatever.
Yeah, they have a match.
So. But anyways, TakeOver was on Saturday, and we were hoping to do a full video on on that. Timing didn't work out.
Yeah, so we figured because we've got a couple people in the comments and on Twitter saying, hey, can you guys, I think you guys can do a recap.
And we've spoken a little bit about our thoughts on some of the matches briefly on some of the shows earlier this week, but we'll go more in depth.
Full rundown.
More in depth.
Full
recap. Results. Analysis.
Bobby Roode versus Ty Dillinger.
Great.
I thought this was a fantastic match.
It was.
I thought both guys looked amazing. Bobby Roode's entrance, minus the small botches from the
choir.
The choir, I thought was great. I can't wait until we get to see his WrestleMania 34 appearance.
Oh, it's going to be
glorious. It's going to be fantastic. They make it bigger and bigger every single takeover. You said you liked the Brooklyn one better because he descended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he looks amazing. His robe looked like a new robe. It was all great. I'm not huge on the collar.
I like it.
I'm not huge on
I think it's great.
I can't. It's so.
He had a new.
What's the point of it? No, I know
he had a new number 10 placard on the back of his vest that had like LED lights in it.
When I tweeted out about how cheesy the collar looks, which I know I've seen it before, but somebody said, "Forget the collar. What about that homemade the arts and craft 10 on this back? How cheesy is that?" It's just I don't know. Maybe that fits. Maybe like the dorky nature of his outfit fits. It's so cheesy.
In theory, his whole gimmick should be super cheesy.
I know,
but he pulls it off so well.
I know he does. People like him. People legitimately they want to like him, and they do like him.
And the 10 count, where everybody counts 10 every time.
Oh, it's great.
That lasted the entire weekend.
I know.
He's so over,
and it spilled over into the main show.
Yeah.
I know, it was great.
He's so over, and I kind of thought that Roode would go over here, and assuming Ty wasn't going to get called up soon, there's so many avenues through which they can continue or expand upon this feud.
Yeah,
that I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
because both these guys are so good, and what we've seen so far, their interactions have been so awesome.
There wasn't any indication in the tapings.
Not that I'm aware of. No,
can continue, but there's also nothing in here about Bobby Roode at all. So hopefully those will keep going. But that makes me think that tonight's episode of NXT probably isn't going to be. It's going to be like maybe a lot of recapping.
Yeah.
And then some like celebration stuff.
Maybe a couple matches.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say about this match?
No. I think like you said, him versus Bobby Roode, maybe more of that. But the fact that he took on Samoa Joe on one of the upcoming episodes makes me wonder if they're prepping him for something on main soon.
That could be.
I mean, giving him that top spot against Samoa Joe, even on a TV taping, is kind of big news. But it also indicates that maybe they're not looking to put him in the world title scene. Or in the NXT title scene. They're gonna bump him up to main.
That could be
sooner than later. It makes sense. There's nothing else he can do in NXT except for, like you said, if they have him and Roode fighting over the title. But I don't know. I don't really know if they need to do that. Authors of Pain took on TM61 in the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
It's a really good match.
A really good match, and
there was two spots that I was worried someone was getting hurt.
This is the one that Ellering was up top.
Yeah. Where the Shane Thorne climbed up the support,
the pylon thing.
Yeah,
I know, it was
and
great.
did the backflip off there.
I was worried too.
But then that spot with the chain.
Oh, somebody, went flying out into the crowd.
Yeah. I'm like, oh dear, someone got hurt.
I know, and he was like, and my thought was, my thing is the I know it's not Full Sail crowd, but the NXT crowd, a bunch of smarks out there, they'll be fine, like nobody's gonna. But also, I was thinking, man, somebody should throw that chain back. Just in case they need it for a later spot. That was my main thing. I was what if they need that for like a pivotal moment?
No, I just saw it flying out into the audience, and I was just worried someone would take it to the face.
I know. But no, like you said, it was a really fantastic match. I've really, in the same manner that it took me a little while to come around to Gargano and Ciampa. And really, I mean, that was because they really took a little while to showcase those guys and to showcase the relationship that they developed in their time in NXT. And for me, it all came to a head. I firmly got on board. I was in the first place, but their Cruiserweight Classic match where you see their relationship play out in fight form.
Yeah.
And in the same manner, I'm really getting to know TM. And that's the great thing about NXT.
Yes.
You get to know these people. You get to see them develop their relationships. That's why we're still so high in American Alpha, is that if we had never seen NXT, I'd be like, what is the big deal? Look, I love them in the ring and everything, but I wouldn't be emotionally invested in the team. I really would stop caring.
But we've seen their work at NXT and know what they can do.
And that was the problem with Apollo Crews. We didn't get time to get to know him.
Yeah.
When No Way Jose comes up to the main roster, we're gonna be like, oh man, this is our old buddy. Thank God he made it to main. It's great. When Ty Dillinger, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain guys, like we've said before, there's certain guys like Bobby Roode, like Shinsuke, like Samoa Joe, who could go to main immediately and be like, oh, we love these guys.
Yeah.
But there are certain people who need NXT so we can get to know them and appreciate them and celebrate when they come to main.
Yes.
TM61 is part of that. Like, I want to see these guys come up, develop, interact, build relationships.
I know they've been wrestling around the world for a while. They're pretty polished.
They are, especially
they're really good in the ring.
I know
they can handle.
And then when you see their chemistry as a team, both in the ring but also on the mic, you see their chemistry. You start to buy into them.
Yes.
A lot quicker than if they just threw two guys together.
Yes.
The Authors of Pain are a couple of guys who were just from the jump packaged so perfectly. That packaging is executed so kind of like Sanity. Authors of Pain are packaged so perfectly that it's like you just get them immediately.
I really enjoyed the parts of the match where Ellering was shouting instructions to him. And the authors of Pain were looking up.
Yes.
That was great.
Yes, I know. I love it. I love every second
That
of
was so good.
Match of the night.
Oh, easily.
Potential match of the year candidate.
It's on the short list.
Yeah, you're keeping the Friendo Awards list going, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Our match of the year top 10 list, yes.
DIY versus Revival. Oh my God. I didn't think they'd be able to top Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But this match was amazing on so many levels.
Well, they took the story from the Brooklyn match, expounded upon it, referenced it, and then gave us the conclusion that we all wanted the first time.
Yeah.
We finally got DIY winning.
This was their earned victory.
Yep.
And everything that
Gargano had to overcome
the
same spot that he tapped out to at Brooklyn for them to win.
Yeah.
All good. Great storytelling across the
Revival
board.
is one of the best tag teams in the world right now.
Revival, I don't know if it's their versatility in the ring or just whoever's booking the tag matches in NXT with them.
Right.
But they find some really creative ways to reverse moves into their moves that, I mean, like the spot where Gargano was doing his spear through the ropes and Dawson catches him and leads to the Shatter Machine.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, I know. Absolutely amazing.
The whole sequence where the Revival tries to do Gargano and Ciampa's finisher and then they reverse it to do the Shatter Machine on the Revival. Fantastic.
I know.
I thought the match was over then.
Yeah.
And if it were, I've been, that was great.
Yeah.
But then they kicked it up a notch.
Yeah.
By having the dual submissions and
dual
and
submissions,
both the Revival guys tapping out.
This is where you and I get geeked out most for pro wrestling, when months and months of great storytelling culminates in one simple shot and one maneuver being performed at the same time. Two submissions being performed at the same time, and you get these guys who had been on the bottom. And they've got these guys who claim them to be the top guys. That's literally what they call themselves. And they're being made, and they're looking at each other as they're both realizing that it's coming to an end.
Yep.
Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. They're looking at each other, and they're practically holding hands.
Yes.
And the symbolism inherent in that scenario is so overwhelmingly great. It's so emotional. It's so perfect storytelling. The end of this era where these top guys who finally are getting their comeuppance, these bad guys are finally getting their comeuppance, and they both have to watch it happen to each other.
Yeah. And try as they might, they can't prevent it from happening.
Yeah. It's so like good.
Especially when Dawson and Wilder works so well at either breaking up pinfalls, intercepting moves that are going to be done on their partner. They're so good at that. So good at in their position where they're absolutely defenseless. They can't help each other.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that's the glory of it. It's not one guy has to watch the other guy. It's they have to watch each other.
And in this instance, they have to watch each other tap out.
Tap out, exactly. The ultimate sign of giving up.
Yep.
Tapping out. It was fantastic. And it makes me wonder, though, I really hope that when they move on to it, I'm optimistic because we've seen American Alpha be able to do what they did in NXT on SmackDown. I really hope that the Revival are able to do what their strengths are. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just the fists, not flips. It's not just we're a couple of badasses. It's what they do in the ring.
Yes.
To channel those characters.
Yeah, and they do it better than anybody else.
Their
heel tactics as a tag team are some of the best I've ever seen.
They're fantastic.
And the way they generate heat doing that, it's so good.
And I just hope they're going to be allowed to translate that when they hit main. That's the big concern.
I know.
I actually didn't see Mickie James versus Asuka.
It was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I was on my way home from my parents' house. Like I jetted at that point. Because I figured, I was like, you know what? I know exactly who's going to win this match. I'm sure it'll be a good match. But this is like, I'd rather like rush home now for Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And I was surprised. Like I checked my Twitter sort of at a red light, sort of halfway between there. And they were like, oh, it's over already. I was like, oh shit. I've only been gone for not that long.
It was I thought it was at least a 10, 12-minute match.
Hold on a second. I'm going to look it up. I'm Googling Wikipedia again. I should Google NXT
But
TakeOver.
it was good.
Maybe it was just in compare. I mean, honestly, when you compare it to the DIY match, it's like, that's your come down. You know what I mean? Results. Let's see here. That was it was a 13-minute match.
Yeah.
Just the one preceding it was 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode was 16. Authors of Pain was 8. Okay. God, I love. Look at only 5 matches.
I know,
and it's so satisfying.
It was 2.5 hours.
It's so satisfying. So yeah, Asuka.
Oh, there was
retains.
a great moment at the end of this match where Mickie James loses. She goes to Asuka to shake her hand, and instead of shaking Mickie James' hand, Asuka raises the title and walks out of the ring.
So that's everybody's talking about. Oh, she's a heel. She's a heel. I love it. It's just Asuka.
She's just Asuka.
She's just Asuka. I love that. NXT. Is she going to stick around? Do we know? Mickie James?
I don't know. I don't think they've announced anything.
Okay, hold on. This is the Inquisitor. Is Mickie James headed to SmackDown? Let's see what they have to say about that. The Wrestling Observer reported that she's looking to once again be part of WWE.
I was suspecting that she was going to have the match against Asuka.
This is just their own speculation,
okay.
I think.
And then get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. On Monday night, Becky Lynch was asked on Twitter if she'd be willing to get in the ring with Mickie James. Said absolutely. Okay. So it says here. Okay, so this says, while reviewing Saturday's NXT TakeOver show, Dave Meltzer said that he believes that James' performance earned herself a spot on the SmackDown roster. She's certainly good enough to be on the main roster, and it's not like SmackDown couldn't use another experienced woman, especially with Carmella and Alexa Bliss there. Fuck you. Middle of fucking reading an article here. They could use another babyface. But it doesn't say that that's like something that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's nothing confirmed about her sticking around. I think, but if her goal is in fact to stick around, then I would assume that match made a good case.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So which took us to our main event.
Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Good, physical, hard hitting.
Yeah.
Match
on par with what we saw in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. I mean, there were some new things. They did some new things, but you can compare and contrast DIY versus Revival, how they kicked it up another notch.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like this necessarily kicked it up another notch.
I haven't seen the Brooklyn match
since we saw it.
Yeah, live. I've seen it on
there.
television, so I don't know how differently it may have played on TV versus live.
Yeah.
The pace of this match seemed faster.
Yeah,
so remember, at the Brooklyn match, they started quick with that kind of shoot fighting. It almost seemed like, but the pace seemed not slow because it wasn't slow, but deliberate.
Right.
Whereas this match, the pace felt a little quicker.
Yeah, I can see that. So we've got Shinsuke eating his first loss.
Yeah, surprising.
That's pretty big. It was like everybody on Twitter was like, oh my god.
But it was kind of a protected loss because he got kicked in the groin.
Yeah. But also, look, a loss to Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
That's not. I actually kind of like that Shinsuke ate his first loss against Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
This has been a massive feud. It's been a great feud.
And I'm hoping that their third match will be a loser leaves NXT match.
I think so, yeah. It's got to be.
They got to up the stakes somehow. I think. I mean, the belt is the prize, obviously, but I think if they had some stipulation to make add some weight to the match.
The only thing about that is, do you think they would do that? Given that it's sort of like loser gets a promotion.
Oh, I know.
You're sort of illustrating, like you're sort of spelling out. Okay, well, loser goes to the big top. You know what I mean?
No, I know. But what other stipulation could they add?
See, I think these guys are badass enough. Just
Well, I guess someone posted
another
on our
badass match.
Someone posted on our Twitter. Match. Yeah, someone posted on our Twitter. They're having a cage match during the Australian tour.
Okay.
That I think they said is going to be taped to air on the network. Mm-hmm. So maybe that will be their blow-off match. I don't know.
They did that before, so yeah, it could be. What on the when is the Australian tour?
In end of this month? Oh, sorry, end of December. Sorry.
That could mean one of those dudes is going to be at the Rumble then.
Could be.
One of those guys. Because that's different enough that from Goldberg, that's just an NXT promotion.
Yeah.
And if they really want to make a big deal out of the Rumble, debut Shinsuke or Samoa Joe, I wonder which one it's going to be. It's so dumb. They both need to be on main.
Oh, I agree.
They both definitely need to be on main. Like, get Bobby Roode that NXT title. He can stick around NXT for a little while.
Yeah.
Get him the title. And Shinsuke and Samoa Joe need to go to main.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if they both showed up at the Rumble.
I know.
And then somebody did double duty. Samoa does double duty. Samoa Joe does double duty with the title until Bobby Roode Shinsuke. Somebody does double duty until somebody takes the title off him.
Yeah.
Let's see. It'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of cool is if they had somebody do like an extended double duty with the title, because Kevin Owens did it for a while. He showed that it could be done.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. They did it for
6 months.
Yeah, or 4 even.
Yeah.
For a couple of takeovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, how does anybody below these guys get the belt off them?
I know.
How does anybody do it? And in a rematch?
I know.
How do they do that?
I know.
They're something tells me they're gonna have to do something creative to get both these guys where they belong on main. Because I mean, how long are you gonna waste these guys in NXT? I love NXT. You love NXT. We love takeovers. But good God, they've proven that they can build people up for these takeover matches. And,
I know there were reports that they wanted Shinsuke to stay in NXT to carry the brand. But
so unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel like the NXT brand is strong enough.
Yeah. They've done such a great job with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's say Ty Dillinger doesn't get. Ty Dillinger could be the NXT champion.
I know. I know.
Maybe the taping, maybe that's, I don't know, maybe they're going to build that up. Samoa Joe versus Ty Dillinger, and Ty Dillinger somehow, some way.
Well, it goes back to Triple H's comment on that Facebook Q&A that someone brought up on on Wednesdays, going in Raw about Ty not being able to take that next step.
Yeah.
Maybe that next step he takes is somehow winning the NXT title. Who knows?
Interesting to see. I want Samoa Joe and Shinsuke to be where they should be, and that's on the big stage.
Agreed.
Let's see here, because
sorry.
Probably get if Samoa Joe's over on SmackDown. I want to see Samoa Joe just completely destroy James Ellsworth and like get that to be a show that's to be taken seriously again, because Ellsworth is killing it. I think he's just I don't know, not into it.
Yeah.
Time to end. Oh wait,
we have mail.
Let's do this before we have actual mail. This is from Michael Cruz. You guys can send us crap at P.O. Box 1814, Orangevale, California 95662.
The address is in the description.
Ooh,
what is it?
This looks fucking cool.
Oh man,
look at that!
I want to look at that.
Show the people what that is.
That is cool.
Hey, Stephen Larson. Hey, friendos. I just wanted you guys to know that I enjoy what you do and I love your wrestling. I know. Look at that guy. And I love your weekly wrestling analysis. It brings joy to my day, and I look forward to it every day. I was in a thrift store the other day, good move on your part, when I came across this Wrestling Confidential magazine from March of 1991 featuring the official Going In Raw wrestler, Lex Luger. Let me know what you guys think, and feel free to tear pages out for the Going In Raw set. Thank you for what you do, Michael Cruz. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, this
from
is
the
awesome.
bottom of my freaking heart.
This is awesome.
That's fantastic. Look at all that. It's a whole magazine of kayfabe corner names.
I know.
Whoa, go back one page. Go back one page. What is all that right there?
Enter the world of combat sports.
It's a what is that? How to start a wrestling fan club?
Yeah.
I want to print that out like big size and use that on a set or something.
That's a great idea.
That's amazing. Oh,
Notes from the independent scene.
Oh, I love all of that. That is
so cool.
fantastic. Look at the new sex appeal in wrestling, and it's got Hogan, Luger, and Paul Orndorff. Ooh, a color section. That's fantastic. We should do like a reaction for this magazine.
I know.
Oh, that's great. Look at Michael Hayes. He's so ugly.
Oh, look at
DDP.
the Bad Company shirt.
Oh my God, that's the same Bad Company shirt you got me.
Yep.
Oh, fucking A. That's great.
That's so cool.
Oh, look at that. That's sexy right there. Oh my God, who the hell is that guy? I know there's Paulie. Hold on, show them Paulie.
Whoops.
Who's this dude? Joey Maggs? Real or fake? Real or fake, Joey Maggs? Fake. That's fantastic. All right, put that away. We're going to do a reaction. We'll set up a little camera of us looking at the magazine.
I can't put it down, though.
It's fantastic.
Here,
Stop, because we're going to do a reaction.
Ask some questions.
We want to do a reaction to that. Oh, who's that? Kat LaRue. Look at that, Mom.
That's great. Thank you very much, Michael Cruz.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
All right, let's answer some questions.
Yeah. Dan, the king of Saunter style. Would you re-sign Wade Barrett to SmackDown to add depth to their roster?
No. Look, I actually really loved Wade Barrett in 2 incarnations.
Yeah.
When he was leader of the Nexus and he was booked strong until John Cena buried him.
And then Bad News Barrett.
Bad News Barrett, I loved. And I thought it was fine. Somebody was talking about Trump's cabinet and they were talking about Bad News Barrett. No, we were doing that. We were talking about who would be in Bad News Barrett would be our press secretary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Yeah.
The Fed is dropping the interest rates once again. But if you're going to buy a house, ha, 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 you're in luck.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, just because, I don't know. You know what? Yes.
Yeah.
Give him a job.
Yeah.
Give him a job.
He's in a movie coming up.
He can be in Upper Mid Carter.
Yeah.
He can be in there with Miz and Dolph.
Exactly.
I just like new faces. I like new faces. That's what I like. I like to go forward, not backwards. Tommy T. Hey, friendos, I heard a statement from one of the What Culture videos. It was, SmackDown is the place for stories, and Raw is the place for moments. And then he said, you love it. So my question is to you, what has been your favorite story from SmackDown and favorite moment from Raw since the draft? And also your favorite wrestling storyline and moment of all time. My favorite moment from Raw
With Sasha winning the belt.
Yeah, that's really high up there. I was going to say Finn's sort of coronation, his debut as sort of like the man. And that first episode of Raw from the Brands, but that was also where Sasha won the belt, was fantastic. So yeah, the 1A and 1B.
Favorite story from SmackDown has been Randy joining the Wyatt family.
The jury's still out for me on that one. So I'm going to say my favorite SmackDown story.
Are you going to say Heath Slater?
Oh, that was good. That was real. I'll say that because that was like really like that was executed perfectly. They got Heath Slater over.
I know.
The hell.
Jack Nesmith, M.A. With Apollo Crews being out of the entire SmackDown card right now, how would you book his return? Would you make him a heel?
I saw this question and I got to thinking about it. He's been gone for a little while, and I would make him a heel.
Yes,
but it'd be a heel that would start doling out to other superstars what he feels has been given to him, which is the shaft. So number one, he'd be interfering in matches, and he'd be wearing traditionally heel clothes. He'd be wearing all black, okay, but civilian gear, looking cool, not his little trunks, and he's all happy and stuff. So he'd come in and he'd screw over a couple of maybe title matches, like the IC title, maybe the tag titles. He'd screw some people over. And then in a promo that literally just sounds like it would sound like a shoot promo, he'd say, I came up with all the promise in the world. They brought me into this company. They brought me up to main roster. And then they have me doing nothing. So until I get, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think coming from an impassioned play, it would have to be in his delivery.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It
Yes.
can't be that weird Jack Swagger thing that we saw when he showed up on SmackDown, and he's just weird. He has to have a sense of focus, a sense of direction. But more importantly, like Scott Hall said in Breaking Ground when they were doing promo class, he says, it sounds like you're delivering a promo.
Yeah.
So Apollo needs to figure out, maybe take some acting classes, which I know plenty of wrestlers have done. I think Dolph did that. Take some acting classes and look at how Dolph is delivering promos.
Yeah.
Impassioned.
Yeah.
He should take a page from that. Let him interfere in a couple matches and say, I'm the best wrestler here and I'm not being used. They brought me up because I was the best wrestler that they've seen, and look at how they're using me.
Yeah.
And you need to do it in a way that doesn't sound bitter, because fans boo bitter. Fans don't want to see bitter. You need to do it in a way that sounds like, man, this guy's got a good point.
Well, if he's a heel.
If he's a heel, but people, bitter leads to X-Pac heat. Bitter leads to, I don't want to see you. You're bitter. Nobody wants bitter. Nobody wants it, because bitter is kind of loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want a guy who's out to prove something.
Yeah.
So there's a way there. There's a way to do it. But I think at this point, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Make the guy a heel, What about you? How do you
No,
feel?
that's good.
Yeah.
No, I think making him a heel is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. If you replace bitter with brutal and savage, like if he makes his point with violence to a degree, also, I think people are going to pay attention, And if you do some cool shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I think a lot of upside to that guy.
Yes.
Brother Kevin, how do you guys feel about 2 matches in 2 days clearly being interfered with by people banned or ejected from ringside?
Yeah. So you had Chris Jericho interfering in the main event on Raw, and Dean Ambrose never leaving the arena, evidently, on SmackDown, in clear violation of Shane McMahon's orders. What is going to be the repercussions for Jericho and Ambrose? If any.
Well, Shane McMahon wanted Ellsworth to have a contract anyways, so he was kind of just doing what probably Shane McMahon wanted him to do. I don't know. Is the premise of the question are there going to be repercussions, or is the premise of the question this feels familiar? It feels repetitive.
We can answer both.
Does it feel repetitive?
No, because it was handled differently.
Different situations.
Yes.
Yeah, different situations. I'm okay with it because Kevin Owens still looked really strong. Look, the bottom line is Kevin Owens delivered a super kick and a power bomb to Seth Rollins and rolled him in the ring. And how I said the other day, that period of time when you have to roll somebody into a ring is usually enough. If you're being booked weak, it's enough time for somebody to kick out. If you're being booked strong, then you get the 3 count, and Kevin Owens got just that.
Yep.
So as far as Dean, I don't know. It's in an Ellsworth storyline. I don't really care.
What about repercussions?
I'm done with Ellsworth.
What repercussions?
I don't know. Shane gonna awkwardly tell Dean that he's being a jerk again, because that's what he did the other night.
I know.
They've been booked. The Dean and AJ, Dean and Alien Jones have been booked for TLC. I don't know. There's gonna be any repercussions. Everybody got what they wanted.
I know.
AJ's a jerk.
Yeah, I don't know what repercussions. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Mick Foley is too busy thinking about if Sami Zayn is dead or alive
I know.
to care about Jericho interfering, but I'm sure there might be some repercussions. Kai Dodson.
This is a good question.
Can Brock still be considered a legitimate beast after Survivor Series? What a good question.
It definitely takes some of the shine off him. I think a guy who hadn't wrestled in how many years? 15 years? 13 years? Came in and destroyed him in 90 seconds.
Yeah,
I understand it's Goldberg. I understand.
Power rankings.
I understand. But still, The Undertaker couldn't do that. John Cena couldn't do that.
Anderson Silva was the UFC middleweight champion for how long?
I know.
And as soon as he checked out mentally, that was his weakness.
I understand.
Everybody should have their weakness.
I understand. We need to get to the bottom of this story.
Brock Lesnar has an Achilles heel, and it's his arrogance.
Hubris,
exactly. I like that as his story because once he's motivated, he'll destroy you.
Yeah.
And
I like the idea of giving Brock some story beyond eat, sleep, conquer, repeat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just wish there was, like, if Heyman had shown up, not even this past week on Raw, but within the next couple weeks. Because there was a report going around that Brock's not scheduled to come back to TV until next year, which granted is only a month or so away.
Oh, until the Rumble. Okay.
To the build up to the Rumble.
Well, here's the thing. I wonder if it'll be at the Rumble. You're absolutely right, because when Goldberg and Brock were in the ring in that face-off, and Brock was very measured in not engaging Goldberg physically, you would suspect that would mean he's not taking Goldberg lightly. And so
that's been more or less Brock's way of operating the last couple, like his whole build up to the, granted, it was the feud with Ambrose,
which is probably why I haven't been huge on Brock's.
He didn't engage Ambrose at all, really. Yeah. And I don't believe. Well, no,
he did. He beat the shit out of Ambrose.
Yeah, and the lead up to Orton,
and Ambrose kept on coming back for it.
And then the lead up to his match with Orton, there was some physical altercations.
Yeah, they kept on blindsiding each other.
This wasn't the first time that, faced with the opportunity to confront his opponent, Brock has left the ring.
No, you're right about that. He does take a measured approach, but I guess my point is the arrogance sort of. I don't know. You're right. There was no build up in terms of like establishing that as his story, as him being arrogant. Or
at least no more so than usual.
Yeah, I mean, can he be considered a legitimate beast? You know, it took Goldberg to beat him, and they're evidently looking at Goldberg as, you know, also on beast level. Yeah. So yeah, he can still be considered. He opened up Randy Orton. So yeah, that was only a couple months ago. Sam Disney, you go.
Hey friendos, new patron here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Is there any wrestlers outside of WWE that you love but don't want to join WWE as you think they would be changed or just not fit in? I know what your answer is.
100% the Briscoes. 100% the Briscoes. Man, they're probably my favorite tag team in the world right now. And that's even considering the Revival. It's considering the Young Bucks, who I kind of think in some ways are overrated. The Briscoes are, in my opinion, just completely and totally legit. They're fucking amazing. They look amazing. They look so legit for what their gimmick is. It's not even. I don't even think it's a gimmick. I don't know how anybody can act that like that. You know, like give them boys some Oscars, because man, they come off as legit. And but I can't see them on Raw or SmackDown. I can't.
No.
You know.
Here's another guy, Silas Young.
It's too much of a man.
Yeah.
Too much of a man.
Yeah.
Silas, we got another contract for the WWE. They're offering you downside guarantee.
$10 million.
$10 million. What do I care about money? I'm a real man. Silas Young is great. He got some terrible shirts on his merch store, though. Get a good shirt, Silas.
Nate Morris. Well, Nate Morris likes SmackDown. He tends to think a lot of people overhype it a lot. Do you think I'm justified in believing this?
Yeah, SmackDown has ups and downs just like Raw.
Yep.
I mean, generally speaking, because it's the goofier show, it's shorter, they can pack a lot more into the 2 hours.
Yep.
And I think that's why people sort of overhype it, which I think they do to a degree. Some people think SmackDown can do no wrong.
Yeah.
I think they got ups and downs just like Raw. It's just for certain periods of time they've seemed to have been...
They were the more consistent show.
Yeah, but I think SmackDown, if What Culture did indeed say that Raw is the show for moments, I think that's apt. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Their moments are bigger and better.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. Let's see here. Cheerful Schrable. You guys didn't talk about this one on the Raw show, but the New Day were getting some boos. I didn't notice that. Is that true?
Yeah, I noticed some boos. I noticed that.
People don't like when they know what's going to happen. People don't like when records are just there to be broken. They're just going to shove a record. I don't like that either. Are they saying boo or boo earns? Randy.
New patron here. Thank you very much. If we get Cena versus Undertaker at WrestleMania for the belt, who does Styles wrestle at WrestleMania?
I mean, who doesn't want to see Styles versus Samoa Joe? Who doesn't want to see a face Styles versus Samoa Joe? Mm-hmm. Who doesn't want to see that?
Or Styles versus Shinsuke?
Yeah. I think you'd probably be crossing brands at that point because
you can do that.
Has to go to
you
Raw.
Can do that.
You can do that Mania.
That Mania, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, because you can make that feel like an above brand, total thing.
Yep.
But yeah, who doesn't want to see that? Styles versus Samoa Joe, bring in Christopher Daniels as the special guest referee. Man who knows us better than anybody. Christopher Daniels, Fallen Angel World Title.
Derek Adkins. With WrestleMania closing in, what would be a dream WrestleMania match that you would like to see? Derek would like to see Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman inside Hell in a Cell.
That's too brutal.
I want to see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. Give him a
yeah.
half hour.
That'd be good. I like that. Give him an entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 hours.
In your house.
Yeah. And the pre-show.
Yeah.
Give him the pre-show, too.
Yes, all of it.
All of it. Patrick Sparks. Hey, friendos. Pat here. What's 3 WWE DVDs do you have to keep you occupied on a desert island? Because you might fucking end up there. He always tosses in an F word in his video questions. Yeah, that's what he does. What 3 WWE DVDs do you have to keep you
I don't know if
occupied?
it ever released on DVD, but that first DX compilation. So I can just hear Triple H say, more but better.
Okay, here's my thing. Keeping it real. I gotta keep it real. The Sable swimsuit edition thing that they did.
Yeah.
Because you're alone on a desert island. I can't just have 3 DVDs of sweaty men fighting each other.
Okay.
I need to have a little bit of the,
Okay.
the stimulation.
Okay.
And the only thing I can think of they did would be the Sable,
Okay.
the Sable VHS tape.
Okay.
Oh God. And then the rise and fall of ECW.
Oh yeah, that one's so good.
That was so good. And then maybe even the rise and fall of WCW,
Yeah, that's
because
good
that
too.
was a really good
the
one.
The CM
Or
Punk one was really good.
CM Punk was one really good. But I also like they did one. It was the history of the big gold belt. It was like the history of the world, because that goes all the way back to the formation of the NWA and on. And so I would want to see that. So Sable. She's just in a swimsuit. There's no nipples in it. But what else can I go with? I'm on a desert island by myself. I need some man stimulation. Oh, man. And I'm not proud of it. But you're going to send me to a desert island by myself. They're like, all these. I'm like, all right, I got to get that one. You're giving me nothing here but a bunch of sweaty men. Give me that one. And give me WrestleMania 10. Really? Wait, that's my final answer? Shit. Wrong one.
WrestleMania 10.
I know, it was a joke.
It's not a good WrestleMania.
It's a terrible WrestleMania.
Not a good one. Not a good one at all.
Oh, my goodness.
That's it.
Was there an ECW pay-per-view where somebody showed nipple? Because then you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's true.
Yeah, like I know Francine and Don and what's her face?
Oh, Beulah.
Beulah showed something. Like if you look hard enough, you look close enough. They were wearing thongs all the time. People giving them pile drivers. Isn't that really sexy though? You really want to see that? Can you fap to that? Like Francine's naked butt, but she's getting pile driven. You have to pause it. Be like, it's not doing anything for me. It's not doing anything. Where's my Sable VHS?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh goodness.
Great question there, Patrick.
All right.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that for the dirt sheet? All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving already happened.
Thanksgiving.
By the time this airs.
Are we going to do a reaction to that?
Sure.
Set up a little camera? That'd be great. That'd be good. Good programming. Anyways, hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving and be safe on Black Friday.
Yes.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.